One would generally expect that UFO-related documents published by various government agencies around the world would have little strangeness in these reports if it is going to release for anyone in the public to read. However, this is clearly not the case when it comes to the fascinating report released by the British government, a close encounter that took place in 1962 in a historic village, Albury, in Wiltshire, England. This case involves a shape-shifting UFO that somehow transformed into a terrifying worm-like monster. The witness's name remains redacted in the official document titled Flying Saucer Incident of Albury, Wiltshire, September 4th, 1962. The witness was 52 and lived in the area her entire life. She seems to take a liking for Neolithic standing stones which are arranged around her village. She often takes late-night walks around the ancient site to get a sense of well-being. One of these late-night walks would cause her to encounter a serpentine space creature and prompt the Air Force's investigation into this quiet village. In contrast to how a military agency is normally expected to handle UFO incidents, this particular event was treated with the utmost seriousness by the Air Force. Two agents arrived in the village to question the woman. She told them that walking around the rocks late at night is one of her daily activities, and she does it at least twice a week. It was about 10 p.m. during her walk. She was shocked to see a glowing spear light hovering about 10 feet above the ground. It was about 2 feet in diameter and danced elegantly among the rocks, clearly under some intelligent control, as it was especially careful not to hit any of the monoliths during its swerving maneuvers. The scene could have been incredibly beautiful if it wasn't for what happened next. The light suddenly approached the witness and stopped about 15 feet in front of her. Paralyzed in awe, the woman could only stand there and look at the beautiful light. Suddenly, her state of surprise was broken as the entire area lit up. This abrupt burst of light was so powerful that it temporarily blinded the woman, causing her to fall to the ground as she lost her balance due to impaired vision. She began to panic and hyperventilate as she tried to understand what was happening around her. She lay close to the ground for a few more minutes before cautiously standing. The light was no longer visible, but there was something even more disturbing about it. She described to the officers a giant worm. Its pale, slimy body is about 6 feet long and 1 foot thick. It looked at the terrified woman with its eyes widened before slowly slithering towards her. Perhaps every conceivable variation of the flight or flight response was now fully active in the horrified woman. She quickly ran home, locking her door and calling emergency services. Surprisingly, the police referred her to the military. Although the police and military at least briefly considered the reports a prank until 2 military agents arrived in the village around 9 a.m. the next morning. They found the woman locked behind her door, so terrified that she refused to leave the house at all. The officers eventually convinced her to let her in. After she calmed down, she made tea for the men. She recounted her bizarre story, eventually summoning the courage to accompany the investigators to the site of the horrific event, where the worm monster was no longer present, but there was a clear, unidentifiable slime trail in front of the rocks near where the monster originally appeared. This strange mucus was carefully collected and placed in a glass jar provided by the woman. It was presumably taken back to the Air Force Base and analyzed, but strangely nothing has been published about the findings. The officers ensured that the woman did not need any medical assistance for anxiety before thanking her and asking her not to talk about the incident. She apparently never heard anything else from the military, but nothing else came out of this strange report, now known only from an obscure declassified document.